Says Manu, I know you had a closing,
Closing,
right?
yeah.
Well, round of applause for Manu. Payday for Manu. She's trying to retire Sam over here. By the way, Sam is a lender with American Pacific Mortgage. So if you have any client, feel free to send them his way. Manu, where did you get this deal? What was the?
I sent 800 letters in the neighborhood, and somebody got a letter. They kept it actually for 2 months, and then they called me, and they said they really liked it.
Mailing doesn't work.
That's
If you send enough, it does. Apparently 800
Got
has
it,
a number.
800 of them.
Good job.
There you go.
And they were all like hand folded, handwritten, like it was a lot
Oh,
of
yeah,
work.
you put the work in on that. Awesome. And then Regina, I know you've been working on a deal for a while. What do you got?
So just this morning, I received an accepted offer. And I've been working with the client, but what's really good about this, it was our first offer that we put in and we got accepted.
There you go. Well, congratulations, Regina. And then Clark, what do you have in the pipeline?
Well, we have a new listing, Diane and I do. It's in Citrus Heights, Antelope Woods area, 1,940 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. What's unique about it's got a huge master bedroom that was actually built over the garage, all permitted, everything. Large master bedroom suite, downstairs and upstairs. So
Wow.
2 different master bedroom suites, again, 1,940 square feet. 520,000. Everything's just been remodeled, all new appliances. Also has all new plumbing in it,
Wow.
and so really redone. So
And what's that one you're thinking of list for approximately?
it's 520,000, but it's the address is 8241 Zenith, so it's right off of Antelope.
There you go. Love it. All right, round of applause
And then-
for Clark. Oh yeah, you have agents.
Yeah, we have a couple new agents, Tatiana Patrick and Anthony Lee.
Love it. Thanks so much. Speaking of new agents, we have a new
8 or
agent.
9 in the last 30 days?
8.
8 in the last 30 days, front line.
Boom, there you go.
So one.
We guys can work out the details. 8 sounds good.
Yeah.
We have also a new agent in the room. Everybody say hi to Basti.
Yeah.
All right. And then right next to her, we also have, you have a new listing, right, coming up?
Yep, hopefully next week.
Okay.
So it's supposed to go, I'll give you more dates once that comes.
Once it officially signed.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. How'd you get this lead? Pearl, there you go. Gotta love those. Wonderful. And then sweetheart, do you have anything to add?
Just opened a new escrow yesterday and
Yeah.
we got Lincoln.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, congratulations, new escrow. New escrow. All right, and then we've gotten 3 listings the last 3 days, hopefully a 4th today. So
Good job, John.
listing today, we'll see if we can keep that going. All right, and then we have some upcoming events. Speaking of new listings, go ahead and we will do next week. Yeah, next week. So next week, we're gonna have 2 speakers. I'm still working out the details on the second person, but we're gonna be discussing reverse mortgages, how to purchase homes with a reverse mortgage. We have a lot of clients who are maybe downsizing, maybe moving out of state. And there's some great options. You can actually even purchase investment properties with a reverse mortgage. So more on that with the proceeds from a cash out and reverse. So Liz is gonna be talking about that. And then on September 3rd, we're gonna have Beef Wellington. Has anybody heard Beef Wellington speak before? You have? Okay. The dude is what's the word I'm looking for? Firecracker, dynamic, very engaging. And he's gonna be speaking on the DOJ, MLS, FX, and how to get 7% on your listings. So really, this should probably say 4%. 4%. We're not doing the whole buyer side thing anymore. But how to get paid 4% on a listing agreement.
I'm okay with that.
Huh?
I'm okay with that.
Barry's like, let's go 8. Why stop at 7? All right, so this is free. This is gonna be September 3rd. It is not gonna be on a Thursday. It's gonna be on a Tuesday here in the building, and we will be provided as well. So it's free. Bring your friends. It's a great opportunity for us to support the real estate agent community. So invite your fellow realtors, whether they're with EXP or not, and of course show up yourself. And then last but certainly not least, I was just communicating with Tina Call. She's a powerhouse out of North Carolina. Is it North Carolina? And she's gonna be speaking on how to become the CEO of your business. So we all are in real estate. Sometimes we are treating this more as a hobby. Sometimes maybe you can even say a practice, like a dental practice or
That's
medical
huge.
practice.
How did you guys get Tina Call here?
Well, there's this little known guy named Brent Gove. And Brent Gove, so please show up to this. Brent is like, when we do these events, these cost Brent like somewhere between, I would say $15,000 to $20,000 between everything. He's flying.
She's awesome.
He's-
Don't wanna
she's-
miss that. Invite a guest.
Invited, yeah, she's an absolute powerhouse. He's flying her out first class, her and her husband, putting her up. They're gonna have a wonderful time wine tasting over the weekend. And so he's investing in us because he wants us to succeed. The only way we will succeed is if we show up. That's all we're asking, is just show up, bring a couple people. Okay, so this is happening Thursday, September 19th, the day before the best day of the year. My birthday's on the 20th, in case you guys are wondering. So September 19th, Tina called. And so any questions on the events that are coming up? We have lots of fun things in the pipeline. Any questions?
Where can we get the info about the Compass event?
Career Compass, can you go back one slide? That's the,
Okay.
that's the info.
That's
Okay,
it.
so I think it's also on Eventbrite. Do we have it on Eventbrite?
Yeah.
So if you just look up, either Brent Gove or Made for More, you'll find it on Eventbrite as well.
Do they have CE credit for that? It says required ethics. Is that for CE credit?
Correct. It is CE credit. That's why it has to be at least 90 minutes long. So we're not trying to punish you for 2 hours. We're trying to make your life easier and have fun in the process. Because CE credits are, I think, the most exciting thing to knock out. But you're gonna be learning, you're gonna get credit and you're gonna learn how to make money. You're gonna get food. Plus, beef's the character.
That's nice, mine is good.
So to get credit, they typically have like a form that you fill out and
Smile,
they just have to verify that you were there. Yeah. All right, good question.
Johnny, is this a good time for me to throw a couple properties out?
Absolutely. Tell me something good, Barry. What
Are
do
you
you got?
sure? Okay,
Yeah.
I missed the tell me something good. I apologize. I've got two properties. One has a tenant in place down in Sacramento. The tenant's been a great tenant, $24.95 a month they're paying in rent. And this is pretty close to the UC Davis complex that's building out down there. That one is listed at $499,999. And that tenant would like to stay. They've got about 6 months left on their lease and they want to stay after that. And then the other one is in Rancho Cordova, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, big vertical stucco, 2-story, $725. And this one is rent to own. And so how these things work with me is you put down a substantial sum, 25 to 35,000, $4,000 a month in rent for the next 2 years. You got $1,000 going towards your purchase price. So at the end of the 2 years, you've got a good amount of money going towards that purchase price. And so lease option, rent to own, however you want to use it. And it's good for people who have a change in life coming, like they're graduating a nursing program or they're dropping a ex-husband, something like that. So any of these changes in life,
Why not an ex-wife? Come on.
it could be an ex-wife. Any of these changes like these are really good for them. So let me know if you're interested.
Awesome. Thank you, Barry. All right. And so then the last thing that we have before we have is Jared responded. All right. You might
Can I say something?
Yeah, what do you got?
Sorry, I did some prospecting yesterday and I have a bunch of listings that are off market. I don't have a ton of buyers, but these are like in Granite Bay and Loomis, and they're all about 1.3 to 3 million. So all around 4,000, 5,000 square foot houses, and then one of them's in Loomis, really nice, close to Del Oro. I think it's like 4,000 square feet, and they want to sell them to Meta Vista. They already have their eye on the house, so.
You're so low key. Oh yeah, I got 5 Granite Bay listings, pre-list. And,
I don't have buyers for them.
We want to double check. Yeah.
Yeah, but I will
Look for one in
comment.
the Baldwin Dam area.
Wait a
You know
second.
where that is?
Yeah, what do you got, Steve?
I'll show you some.
But I'm serious, I'd like to get business, we can get some things going.
Okay, well, I want to give him props because I see him every day doing his
Absolutely.
calls. Okay, he's
Yeah.
grinding it out. We got to give him respect.
Yeah. Round of applause for David Palmer. That's how he gets your big muscles. He's constantly picking up the phone.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
he has to alternate hands.
Phone curls. Phone curls. All right. And then, of course, before we have the speaker present, we got our in-house lender, Mr. JJ Mack. What do you got for us, JJ?
Thanks, guys. All right, so much easier to get up here when rates are looking better. I like that. That's a lot more fun. Did you guys hear about the jobs report yesterday? You guys hear what happened?
Yeah.
You guys did?
Slaughtered.
It's crazy that from March 2023 to March 2024, the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's a federal thing. They said 818,000 jobs were not actually made. They said were made. And so that's a huge revision in numbers. Usually, you know, maybe 5,000, 6,000 here or there. 818,000. So I don't know if you guys remember or not, but a couple of weeks ago, when I was up here talking to you guys, I said, the inflation thing is pretty much there. The Fed is ready to cut rates with inflation. What they're not ready yet is jobs. Jobs are still looking good. Well, they're not anymore. This makes it to where now the Fed has everything that they need to make sure they're cutting rates. So,
Did they say why? How
Yeah,
they
I'm
missed the
curious.
output?
of course not.
Isn't that called lying?
Right.
How do
That was my question too.
politically make that error?
800.
Because it's an election year.
I'm just
Yeah,
surprised.
that's like this placed $2 trillion right before 9/11. Oh,
And-
sorry.
Somebody
Yeah,
get
so
fired.
money's going missing, jobs are not there. These are things that we will never have the explanation of coming from the Fed. But it happened, and obviously we're not grateful for jobs going away, but with that being said, we're gonna see a rate cut. I'm almost sure of it. And September 18th is that day. So write that in your calendar. September 18th, you're gonna see what's gonna happen. And initially, we were thinking a 25 basis point rate cut, but I think that it's pretty dang sure we're gonna see that 50 basis point hit. The last three starts of Fed cuts, we've seen 50 basis point cuts. When they've started cutting rates over the last several times, 2012 and then 2008, and all these times when they started cutting, we've seen them cut 50 basis points. So if history repeats itself, we'll see 50 basis points again.
What do you believe next year, about 1 year from now, what would be nobody has any guarantees, we understand that, but projections, what do you believe the 30-year fix gonna be at, or 15-year fixed?
50,
What, 2025?
2025. I honestly think in 2024 and 2025, a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, you're gonna see rates back in the fours. I personally believe that. A lot of people are saying fives. I think we're gonna see high fours. The Fed doesn't know how to stop cutting rates when they start. And so they're gonna keep doing the same thing that they've always done before.
Just
Cut,
juice it up.
cut, until we're gonna see rates drop back down in the fours again.
Bill Pipes thing or whatever, the guy that stood up before.
Yeah, last week.
Fed futures and the confidence, it said like 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5.
So a lot of people will say they're gonna see in the fives. I personally believe the fours, based off of previous history. And I think that'll repeat itself again.
JJ, do you only anticipate one rate cut between now and the end of the year?
No.
Between now and the end of the, you
I
said
think if-
September 18th, are they gonna, October, November, December, they're gonna do another?
There's two more, yeah, there's two more opportunities. So September being that first one, and there's gonna be one more opportunity for them to cut before the end of the year. Which I think could be another 50 basis point hit, or, you know, it could go back to that
Will
25.
that actually drop rates by that much?
So when they do make this decision to drop rates by 50 basis points, don't think that you're gonna see interest rates, mortgage rates drop that same amount. Just know that every single time the Fed drops rates, it's always baked in. So we've already seen rates drop pretty substantially over these past several weeks. When interest rates a month ago were in that 7.5% range, now we're in that 6.5% range. Right now, if you're gonna buy a home, you're looking right around 6.5, maybe 6.3% with no points. So we're looking a lot better than we were.
Conventional, right?
Conventional, yeah. FHA is a little bit better. VA is a lot better. But you were looking a lot better than we were, and I think we're going to continue to see that as the Fed continues to point out future rate cuts. That will be a lot faster than actually them cutting that rate.
So you're saying that the mortgage companies will bring their rates down in anticipation of future, and based on some of these metrics, they don't, okay.
Yeah, they're going to follow the bond market more closely and what investors are going to be purchasing bonds. And when more investors purchase bonds, it's a more financially secure way to hold an investment versus buying a stock, for instance, right? And so a lot of investors are pulling out of money, you know, big investors. I'm not talking about like you and me, I'm talking about companies and institutions and the federal government. And they're buying these mortgage bonds. And so, and other countries as well.
So my prediction is that with the continued reduction of rates, once they hit 5.25%, which they will, all hell's gonna break loose. I've always said skate where the puck's going to be. So what our takeaway from that, because there's so much pent up demand, the takeaway is get listings, secure inventory. If you don't list, you don't last, because whoever takes advantage of it is gonna have an amazing last quarter of the year and 2024 2025 and 26, right, Johnny?
There you go, see you in the future.
I 100% agree with that, Tom, and it brings up a really good point. What is that rate gonna do to our clients? I think right now we've seen inventory increase, right? We've seen homes sitting for longer. And I was just looking this morning in MLS, and in the MLS, it shows that we've had 2,000 price reductions in the last 7 days. Not 200, 2,000 in all of MLS. And so that's a huge opportunity, I think, for you as a listing agent to go out there and make sure that you're presenting yourself as a negotiator, right? Hey, do you want to be one of these people that are cutting your costs within the next 2 weeks, or do you want to get an offer right away? If you do, then you should listen to me, because I'm a professional at what I do, and I know exactly what to value your house out. If you don't listen to me, you're going to be one of these people, 2,000 people in 7 days that are cutting their costs, and then you're not getting the buyer demand that you should have been getting this whole time, because your neighbor's going to price it right, and you might not. But even more so, because I don't work a lot with listings, but what I do work with is buyers, and I think as a lender, as a buyer's agent, we have a responsibility to our clients to make sure that we're doing everything we can to benefit them. And right now, more than anything, but for instance, let me just take a step back. I have a client right now. He's buying a house for $550,000. He wants to buy a house for $550,000. He's a school teacher. With that, what do you think his mortgage payment is? 550 grand, 5% down.
38, 32.
$4,300.
That in mind.
$4,300. And you know what his rent payment is right now? $2,300. So he's asking me as his lender, hey, I got pre-approved. I'm just kind of waiting now. Why would I buy a house? My payment's going to over double. So, what are we going to like? Do we just agree with him as a buyer's agent or as a lender? Or we just say, you're right, just hold off. You're pre-approved now. Or do we say, hold on, there's an opportunity here. There is more inventory out there than there has been. That means that there's a opportunity for you to go in and get your seller credits. There's an opportunity for you to go down and get a potential rate drop in purchase price and where that is listed. There's an opportunity for you to buy this house today at a lower price than what it's going to be a year from now. Like what Tom said, when the rates drop to 5.25, that pent up demand is going to come together, and now that house isn't worth $520,000 anymore. Now it's worth $580,000. Do you want to get in now? Are you going to be okay with the next couple of months or next 6 months, 8 months, whenever it is, taking on that $4,000 payment? Because if you are, I really, really think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't buy it today. Go ahead, David.
So I think that the narrative is going to change. I think people are going to start seeing that the interest rate is going to drop. A lot of people bought it thinking they would, and it still hasn't. The rates drop, right? But what do you guys charge for refis?
So we have this awesome program, right? And we still haven't come up with another name for it, but it's Wi-Fi. And basically it's terrible. Sorry. You buy a house now, you refinance later, you pay no mortgage refinance costs. So this is an opportunity for your buyers to go out there and be able to refinance later without having to pay those $4,000 or $5,000 in refinance.
So I think that's huge. Once buyers see that it's starting to drop, that's when they should jump in and know that they'll feel more confident that the rates are coming down. And then that's when they can get in right before the frenzy.
Yeah, maybe. And these aren't refinance costs, and these are just mortgage costs, not title escrow. But really quick, Tom, basically, we're not adding that into the rate. This is just being washed away from American Pacific Mortgage. So we're just not charging those costs upfront.
But how long do they have to do that? You're not gonna, for 20 years, if you repay, we're not gonna, I mean, there's a limit to that, right?
Right. So right now, we're hopeful that, it's stating that within this next year. So,
So 12 months.
right, within the end of next year, 2024, or 2025, is that's when we want to say, hey, okay, if it's 3 years from now, we're not gonna honor that, but by the end of next year, you have that amount of time to refinance and get out of that.
That's a great program.
Yeah, so it's another, honestly, we've had people buy homes today because of that program.
Absolutely.
We've had people come to us and say, we're not interested, we don't want to refinance and take on those costs. Well, what if you didn't have to? What do you mean? We could save this much money by not doing that. And now they go and they buy the house. So, definitely tell your clients that as well.
If they're willing to pay for an appraisal, can they get a cash out on the refund if the value increase?
They could certainly get a cash out refinance. If they wanted to, yeah. Or a HELOC will go up to, 90% loan to value at some point, so they got a good interest rate, they wouldn't want to do that, another option.
Yeah.
But, let me see here, I think,
Talk on ADUs and, circling back to past clients, who maybe were interested in buying, but now that the interest rate drops.
yeah, actually, so FHA program, an awesome opportunity for your clients. Yes, 203K. You can buy a home with an FHA, or you can buy a 203, you can use a 203K home to help you buy a house, and it will help you pay for the cost of building an ADU on that property. And then you can use future rental income to help you qualify for that same mortgage on the ADU that's not even there yet.
That's not a streamline, that's the.
The whole deal.
50%.
Yeah.
Last quick question. What products does APM have for first mortgage lines of credits? If
First mortgage lines of credit. You mean not just a regular conventional mortgage, but you're talking about, like an actual like home, like a HE loan type of a situation? Yeah, so we have other options. If you don't have a mortgage on your house right now, then you, instead of getting a standard cash out refinance, which I might recommend in this point, because a lot of times adjustable rates can sometimes be higher on those, on like a HE loan type thing, even if it's fixed HE loan. But there are options there as well. So if you want something called a HE loan instead of a HELOC, you could do a first mortgage lien that's not a conforming loan, that you can go and get a lot easier to qualify. It's a lot easier to get. You don't have to go out and actually get approved like you usually do. And so if you want something, if you know a client that's looking for some money, that doesn't want to go through the hassle of going through a standard mortgage finance, we can do something with a HE loan that you can go out and, just as long as there's equity in the property, they're going to use that equity to help you qualify for that loan. It's a little bit convoluted with the interest rates right now, because you can get either an adjustable rate or a fixed rate on those programs. Those fixed rate options are a little bit higher. You're going to look at like some 9 or 10%, and the adjustable rate options are going to look like 7 to 8%. The problem with so right now you could probably just do a cash out refinance and get a little better. But when things start to turn, those HE loans become a lot better of an option.
Okay, thank you.
What's the difference though?
Just qualification is a lot easier. You're not having to actually go through the whole situation of qualifying.
Think of it as a bridge loan option.
We
for
also
about-
have
for
the choice
seller
renovation.
What do you have?
We also have the choice renovation.
What is that?
It's like the 203K, but it's a conventional product. And what's nice about it is that you can use it for manufactured homes. You can use it for second homes and investment properties, but you can't use the rental income to qualify. You have to fully qualify, but you can use it on other property types, as opposed to the FHA has to be primary residence.
That's pretty cool.
I just made a
I didn't even
plan.
know about that.
Good. Guys, the big takeaway is interest rates are coming down. Call your buyers. If your buyers are on the fence, they may not even know, because what's probably going to happen, there's a bunch of pent up demand. The sellers, because think about sellers as well. Sellers are sitting on the fence because they don't want to go out and get a 6-7% interest rate. So they've been sitting on the fence as well. What's probably going to happen is in the spring, you're going to see a flood of homes come on the market. We might see some prices dip a little bit as all these homes hit the market, but then with affordability being higher because interest rates are lower, you're going to see those prices shoot back up. So right now could be the sweet spot for your clients to get in and purchase a home and have built-in equity by this time next year. Be having that conversation with your clients, and also now's a great time. If they maybe bought higher, maybe they can refi. Maybe if they're happy where they're at, you don't have to sell them a home. Send them over to JJ, and he can get them a great deal on the refi. Okay, so just provide value to the client. Was this helpful? Wonderful. All right, and then we have our August 17th. It's almost like tax day, April 15th. August 17th is come and gone, and we're all having these conversations now with our buyers. And we were asked, hey, who is somebody that is actually in the field, that is actually doing this, that is running a successful team? Let's get their perspective on what it is they're doing to win. So today we have Jared Davis with the Davis Group. Jared, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Nice watch.
Perfect. Man, I am so sorry about the snafu on timing. When you had asked about the calendar invite, I gave you an email to just send the invite, and because nothing went out, like I said, I don't read emails. So I'm so sorry that I'm in my car right now, not in my office. I'm actually heading back to my office right this second. So I didn't really get much other than NAR update. Do we want to do question and answer at all, or do you just want me to talk just a little bit about what the team is doing just to make sure that we're ensuring we get paid? What would you like to hear?
Yeah, so first off, let's just do word tracks. Like, how are your agents explaining this change to their clients? And then from there, let's transition into how, what you're doing to get paid on the deals. And then if you have some time at the end, we'll open it up for Q&A.
Yeah, so I'll start on the sell side, I guess, first, because I feel like that's honestly simpler right this second. Even though people are seeing the news, I feel like most people, it's just been business as usual on the sales side for commission. I've heard a couple people, obviously, on appointment say something along the lines of, I've heard commissions negotiable now, right? Or, hey, what's happening with the laws? How does this affect my sale? And ultimately, what we're telling everybody is commission's always been negotiable, right? And then at that point, if it's on a listing appointment, we actually pull out a price sheet that we built. So we kind of got ahead of the curve. So before the changes got made, we were able to tell people it's always been negotiable. In fact, here's our price sheet with what we charge, and it shows exactly what you're going to get. And our price sheet essentially runs from 6% all the way up to 9%. Now, obviously, that's assuming that they're going to give 3% to that buy side. We are letting people know, hey, if you want to give less, you can, but we've already established in other markets that those that aren't paying anything are typically having their houses sit on the market for longer and they're selling for less money. So then we ask them the question, do you want to sell for more or less money? Would you like to sell quickly or would you like it to take more time, right? And so they're able to typically come to their own conclusion that they need to offer some sort of compensation. The other thing that we're letting sellers know is that if they want to offer zero, we can still have that conversation where if they're open to paying, then we can say, hey, right now we don't have any offer of compensation, but the seller's open to all offers. So we encourage you to put in an offer and ask for whatever it is that you'd like to ask for. We're looking at all offers right this second. The only snafu that I've seen with that is that because there's so many bad agents out there, what we're hearing from some agents is something along the lines of, oh, well, if it's just zero, then I'm just not going to go show it at all. And that's really not what we want, right? We want them to come and still put an offer in, even if they're asking for compensation. So on the sales side, I feel like it's been pretty standard. Most people still want to offer. The worst we've seen is maybe someone offering a little less than 3, at least in our market. But then even then, we're letting them know, hey, just understand it's a possibility and a probability that a buyer is going to come along and their buyer's agent is going to add that additional percent into the contract when they go to put an offer in. And I don't know about y'all's MLS contract, but our MLS contract actually has in it now an entire paragraph to ask for compensation. Do you know if y'all have that in yours, anybody?
Yeah.
The RPA does.
Yeah, everything, yeah.
It's in there. So with that, you transfer over to the buy side. And on the buy side, what we're telling everybody is, hey, we still work on 3%. That's just our commission. We're also building out a price sheet on the buy side. It's something that no one really does. Everybody thinks about, hey, I negotiate on the sell side. But again, we're having to treat our buyers like sellers now. So what we wanted to do was build out an actual buyer's compensation price sheet as well. So when they say, well, I heard it's negotiable now, I heard I may have to pay it. What's the outcome? We can let them know, actually, you can choose to pay us 3%, 3.5%, 4%, 4.5%. And then we're going to offer bonuses to those buyers that want to take us up on paying more than 3%. We're still having the conversation that says, hey, if you want to negotiate it in the offer, right, we can put that in there. And most instances, the seller's still offering, full compensation anyways. But if you want us to shoot for 4% for you, we'll make sure you get a move-in clean done before you move in. We'll make sure to get your movers lined up and we'll pay for them if you're moving locally, right? So we're offering certain services that other agents wouldn't be offering to their buyers. That way, maybe we can solidify more commission, But again, what you're trying to do is you're trying to show your value to everyone. So we're just having the conversation with buyers right now. Hey, you've always signed a buyer brokerage agreement in our state saying that you're going to pay 3%. In almost every case, the seller paid that all the way across the board. Nothing has changed. That is still the case. If anybody's offering less than 3%, we can let you know, and you can choose to either not look at the house, or we're just going to ask for it in the contract anyways. And for the agents that are out showing properties, I'm telling them, and again, I am not NAR, I am not your ethics committee, I am not a lawyer. So use this advice with whatever caution you want. I'm telling them you don't have to call every single agent that you're going to go show a house for to ask them what the compensation is, because regardless, we're going to get our minimum 3% no matter what. So to me, if I'm going to show 10 houses, I am not going to call 10 agents and ask for compensation sheets. I'm just going to go show 10 houses. And the reality is my client's probably only going to want one, if any. And then on that one that he wants, at that point, I call the agent. And it still doesn't really matter what they tell me, because if they tell me 3, I just write a standard contract. If they tell me 1.5, I'm going to put 1.5 more in the contract. If they tell me 1, I'm going to put 2. If they tell me 0, I'm going to put 3. And so we have had no issue getting paid fully on any deal, whether we're on the buy side or the sell side, since any of this was announced.
Wonderful. Jared, would you mind sharing the pricing sheets or like emailing those over to us so we can share with the group?
Yeah, what I can do, I just pulled into my office. If you want, I'll keep you on the line. I'm gonna walk up to my office or drop into a phone booth real quick, and I can pull up the seller one, because we don't have the buyer one yet, but I do have the seller one. What I did do on the buyer one was we did do like a why hire us buyer form. So I don't know if you guys have anything like that. But we did do that just so that when people say, well, why should we pay you to represent us? We just have kind of a cheat sheet for our agents to be able to go down and go through a lot of the different items that we offer as buyer's agents, why they should hire a buyer's agent. I do have that, and I can share that. So I'm actually getting out of my car booth, and I can pull that seller form up if you guys want. While I'm doing that, anything else you want me to elaborate on? Anything else question-wise as far as the NAR stuff goes?
Yeah, I'm sure they have questions. Any questions in the room besides getting that sheet? What state are you in?
I'm in Virginia, so Richmond.
Okay, cool. I know
Does he have
got
it?
that.
I've never-
Yeah, he's got a team.
CEXP.
Yeah, Jerry, you mind just giving us a little bit of background on yourself? People are like, hey, who is this rock star?
Yeah, I don't know about a rock star, but yeah, I'm Jared Davis. I've been in this business for 11 years now. Oh, sorry, someone was calling me, which always messes up my Zoom. Hopefully you can still hear me. So I've been in the business for 11 years now. I am the #1 rev share earner in the state of Virginia with EXP. So we do recruit. I have a team. We have about 33 agents on our team. We're tracking probably about 250 deals this year. We were shooting for 300, but I do think we're going to fall short of that. I think we'll probably be around 250. And then let's see, what else? I flip. So I do a lot of fix and flips. I run a grid investment chapter, if you guys know what grid is. So we just had a grid event last night. I buy apartment buildings. I have about 144 apartment units right this second, with 60 under contract. There we go. I'm on the computer now. Can you guys hear me? See me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Sorry about the running around today. I'm sincerely sorry. All right, let me pull up this form for you guys now that I'm at my computer. Let's see.
So while you're pulling that up, how do you get buyers to cover the difference on commission if they barely have enough to cover their own down payment and closing costs?
That's a really good question. I will tell you that thus far, we have not had anybody offering 0. So really what we've seen is people that are maybe either at 2 or 2.5. And then we just have the conversation up front with our buyers that they're going to have to float that 0.5% or 1% on their own. Now, if they don't have it, like you said, if it's really that tight, then the only thing we can do at that point is just ask for it in the contract. And again, what I have found, at least in our market, I know every market's different, but we have just seen that overall, anybody that's shorting commission, for the most part, they're not selling their houses. They're just sitting. So everything that I've messed with as far as the shortages go, I've not only gotten their commission covered, but I've typically got money off of the price of the house and I've got them closing costs. And we're in a market where that's not necessarily the norm. I'm not in some market where everything just sits on the market. I mean, there are houses selling still in, days with full waivals of everything and no inspections, right? No appraisals, over ask, right? But we are seeing that those people that are choosing to short, those people are typically sitting on the market and not getting sales quickly. So because of that, we're able to come in and get it covered, right? Now, again, I mean, I guess if somebody really doesn't have the money and it's a house that, they just will not negotiate, would we take less? I guess hypothetically, situation to situation, we could, but we have not had to. So that's the big thing I'm trying to set up my agents with. You guys, do y'all charge an admin fee on all of your deals as a team?
Some people do, some people don't.
If they charge an admin fee, do they keep it?
I bumped it up to cover all admin.
Okay.
Closing, it's your transaction coordinator. It's a
Okay, this is why I ask, because when we started doing the admin fee, I had agents freaking out about it. They were just saying, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Our clients aren't going to have the money. This is not going to work. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I never had one client come back and say they couldn't pay the admin fee or even care at the end of the day. But I had plenty of agents that just didn't believe in the ability to go and get that admin fee. And so it was all self-inflicted. Everything with this NAR suit, if you're having trouble, it's self-inflicted. Every single person here, if you're not able to get your commission covered, if you're not able to negotiate, if you're not able to show your value, it is all self-inflicted, because what we're seeing overall is that stuff is still selling, and anybody that's wants to buy a house, it's just a cost. It's what you go over. Michael Mervin, we only charge $395 on ours. And then I charge my agents $100 transaction coordination fee. And I mean, as you guys know, if you were to pay a TC fee, outside of, being on a team, you're going to pay $300-$400 for TC fees. Typically, mine was $100 when I got in the business. I just didn't raise it on my team, but we did put that $395 admin fee in place by the client. So essentially it's $495 all in that comes over. So give me one second. I found the one form. I'm just looking for the commission form now.
what's the buyer's, like, you have a buyer's guide or
What was that? Could you speak up? Your mic's pretty low.
He called, he says he has.
Yeah, she was just asking about your buyer's guide, that sheet, like why work with us?
I've got
Pull that-
that one already. I've got it up. I just haven't shared it yet because I'm trying to pull the commission sheet. Just give me 1 second so that I have both.
And then do you do admin fees on listings and buyers, or just?
Both, 100% on everything. Yep. And then again, keep in mind, I mean, we've got the title company, we've got the real estate company. So, I mean, if we can keep everything in house, you're pulling an admin fee, you're pulling commission, you're pulling a loan profit, you're pulling the title insurance profit. I mean, it really is. And then home warranty, if they want a home warranty, right, we're pulling profit off of home warranty as well. So the main thing is that, we're going to pull on every single thing that we can pull on. Across the board. All right, I'm going to share this one first while I'm looking for this other one so you can see it. Here we go. Share. Can you guys see this? Did it just pop up? There we go. So this one's for the buyers, and we do not have pricing on this yet. So we're still working on a sheet that says, hey, we're going to offer all of this stuff depending on what you pay. But this I mainly did for my team agents, because what I find is I bring agents in, and I don't know if you guys role play a lot, but we'll ask them, hey, tell us why we should hire you right now. And a lot of agents will falter on this, whether they're new in the business, whether they've been in the business for a long time, they have a really hard time conveying that value proposition. So this is something that they can give to the client, but it's really something that they should take and just have with them so that they can go through things too. So for us, some of it's pretty basic. You know, we're one of the top 5 teams in all of Central Virginia out of every single brokerage. We're number 1 at EXP in Central Virginia. So we just like to make that known to buyers. Hey, I know you're trying to compare us to your aunt hasn't sold a house in 7 years, right? But like this is a different ballpark, right? You're dealing with the best at EXP in Virginia versus, you know, this non-selling agent, right? We have an EXP agent that's an in-house inspector. They are a licensed home inspector and a licensed Class A contractor. So we tell people, when you're in this situation where you've got to get an offer in, we've got to waive inspection, we're going to call our EXP guy. We're going to send him out. He's going to do a pre-inspection walkthrough. Since he's an agent, he can use the lockbox to get in. He can walk through and inspect this thing, and then we get to waive the inspection. And guess what? If there's something on there that you don't like, he's a Class A contractor. So he'll tell you how much it is to fix it, and we can get it fixed for you, right? Prior or post-close, right? Availability 7 days a week. This is something that, again, if I ask half of you guys in the room, you know, why should I hire you? You're probably not going to tell me this. It's probably not in most of your heads. But again, what you don't realize is when you're competing with that agent that says they'll do it for 1%, they probably have another full-time job. This isn't their real gig, right? They're just out there trying to make a little buck here or there, right? So the reality is you talk to these people that are part-timers. Are they really available 7 days a week? Are they going to make sure that you can get into the house as soon as you need to? So we're pushing just like you guys. We have a whole force of agents. Even if I'm out of town, one of them's going to cover it. We're going to get you into whatever house you need to. Because we do fix and flips, we're an asset for people looking for fixer-uppers, right? We can walk through the house. We can tell them exactly how much it is going to be to fix. We can give them contractors. We can get quotes that are going to save them thousands of dollars versus if they went and just try to buy a house and fix it up themselves. The admin staff. This is one of those things. As a solo agent, what are you pushing? Oh, I'm pushing that I'm handling this every step of the way, and you're not going to get passed off, right? That's their sales pitch. As a big team, you're the exact opposite. You're saying, hey, we have a staff that streamlines everything. I'm not having to sit here and order an HOA package or order a termite inspection, right? We're just going to make sure that we can be there for you to negotiate your deal and get you into houses. Relationships with local agents. If you guys are top agents in the area, you know how that works. You can probably say, hey, I work for Brent Gove, or I am such and such, and that can bring enough weight that you just get your offers accepted. So that's something that we talk about a lot of times. If you're dealing with an agent that hasn't sold a house this year and they put in a contract on a house and I put a contract in on a house, I'm going to crush them, right? Like I'm going to get that offer accepted just because they know our name, they know who we are, they do a bunch of deals with us, right? We own the mortgage company. So we advertise, hey, we have the in-house lender. That means we're going to get you the best rate. We're going to have the best mortgage product. I'm going to be able to bend the rules as far as pricing goes, which if you call a regular bank, they're not going to do that. I can do that because I'm holding everything in-house. We've got our contractor list that we talked about, so we can help you with fixer-uppers. We have the Zen list. Are you guys pushing Zen list right now as far as off-market stuff, right? We want to push that to people that we have the largest database of off-market properties. And then we've sold over 1,000 houses. So we know every area. We know how to, you know, negotiate any price point, any area, any kind of house, land, commercial, whatever it is. Same thing. How much is your aunt sold? Oh, one house in the last 2 years. Does she even know the areas you want? Does she even know whatever? Again, I don't know your neighborhoods. Does she even know Wyndham? Does she know Midlothian? Does she know this, right? So we really just want to make sure that we're putting in the effort to show buyers this is not just opening a door. There's a lot more that goes into this than just popping a lock and getting you a house, right? And again, in addition to this, we are building that price sheet so that we can say, hey, it's 3%. This is what you get out of all of that. Hey, for 4, we're also going to do this, 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 and this, so that you don't have to cover these costs. We'll pay for your home inspection. We'll pay for your this. We'll pay for your movers. We'll pay for your move-in clean, right? So that's the buyer one. Let me go back.
Can you download that and share it in the chat?
Of course. Yeah, so that one's the what we offer sheet. For the life of me, I don't know why this other one's not coming up. Let's see.
Guys, was that helpful?
Yes.
All right, give him a round of applause. Let's pull up the-
Thank you. Let's see. I know this is real spur of the moment on my end too, so I really do apologize, you guys. Let me see.
Thanks for making it happen.
Yeah, I'm glad you called me when you did. And again, if you ever want me to come back, you just when you send out an email, just put it as a calendar invite, and then it's in my calendar, and I'm good to go for it.
Got it.
Where is this dang thing? Is this it? Okay, no. Fire and here we go. I think I got it. I got it. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Download that. Pull it up. Reshare.
Those of us not on chat, we'll get that comes down.
So you just pay me $5 and
All right.
$5 or
You guys can see it now. Y'all good? Okay, so the one thing I haven't changed yet, and I'm debating, we will likely take 3% off of these prices just to show just our list side now, right? Just with all the changes, it's probably just the safer bet to come in and say, hey, technically it's 3, 4, 5, 6 now, not 6, 7, 8, 9. I also think what it's going to do is it's going to help you with your pricing, because if they already know, hey, we're going to offer this compensation, and they're thinking it in their head, to have the lower price sheet almost looks better than someone coming in and saying, hey, I have to have 6, I have to have 6, I have to have 6. Now you're coming in and saying, no, we're going to do it for 3, but just know that you're negotiating with the buyer now on the other side of that commission, and it's likely going to be X, but this is what you're going to get just for paying us, right? So 6 essentials, right? And again, one thing I always say, people will always try to lowball you, right? You go, well, hey, well, I'm just trying to negotiate. How low can we go? Do you negotiate? Oh, of course we negotiate. We could do 6, 7, 8, 9. That's what I used to tell people before we built this price sheet. And it normally made them laugh enough that they were like, okay, I get it. He doesn't want to drop down, right? But now we show exactly what it is. 6 essentials. We're still doing pro photos. We're still doing pro videos. We still got our marketing plan. We're still doing open houses. We're still doing staging consultations if needed or wanted. The big thing is we do this at the very end. Obviously, you always talk about your pricing at the end, right? What you charge. So we've already run through the listing agreement or listing appointment, rather, right? We've walked the house. We've talked about marketing. We've talked about AdWords. We've talked about how much we're spending. So they already know this is what we do that makes us stand out over everybody else. Now you're saying everything that we've talked about thus far, we're going to give you at 6%. But if you want to go higher at 7%, we're going to give you everything that we gave you. Plus, we'll stage your house for free. We'll do a pro clean before we list. We'll do that pre-listing inspection. Remember, we got that inspector with EXP, so we'll send him into the listing, $185. He'll do a walkthrough inspection. And if they want some virtual staging, we can do some virtual. If they want to go up another level to the pro level, right? We'll give them a weekend getaway so that if they have kids, if they got a dog, if they're listing on a Wednesday, Thursday, and they say, man, we've got 27 showings from Friday to Sunday. Am I just supposed to be out of the house the entire time? And you're like, yeah, you're selling your house. You're not supposed to be in it, right? This is like, hey, if you want to pay us 8%, where do you want to go? You want to go, stay at the Hilton, or, where do you want to be? You want to go to the Hyatt on the beach? You want to go, to the mountains for the weekend? We're going to pay for that Airbnb for you so that you can get away. And then you can just come back Sunday, hopefully to a empty house and a bunch of contracts in hand, right? We'll do a move out clean for them. We'll get power washing done if we need to. And then we'll help with contracting for repairs if they need that, right? And then the 9%, everything else that we mentioned above, plus we'll pay for them to move as long as it's local. Contractor costs covered up front if they need it. So if they say, hey, I need to put some carpet in the house, but I don't have the money to cover that carpet, we'll cover the cost of it. So we'll either pay for it, or we've just got a contractor list that'll push stuff to get paid at closing. So that way, we're not even technically paying for it, but we're pulling an extra percent because we gave them our contractor's deal, and we got them the ability that they can just pay for this carpet once it hits the CD, right? No buyers agent. This is the last one. This is good with NAR, right? Everybody says, what, oh my God, am I going to have to pay commission, right? So we just threw this in here. Hey, if you pay us 9 up front, we'll guarantee that there's going to be no buyer's agency commission fees on your next purchase, if any commission's owed. So you're essentially telling them right there, hey, you're buying another house with us, right? We would normally sign this buyer brokerage agreement at 3%, and you'd pay the difference if we can't negotiate it. We're just letting you know right now, you are not paying anything out of pocket. If you choose this elite level, we're going to make sure you get into that next house at no cost to you on closing costs, right? Now, what's good about this is no one, if you're smart and you started looking at these, you realize no one can use everything here in every level. Because if they need staging, they obviously don't live in the house, which means they wouldn't need a weekend getaway, right? So if they're empty already and you're staging, they're not going to need you to help them move, right? So no matter what they pick, you know, a lot of you may think when you look at this, like, man, how can you afford to do all of this? You're not going to have to do all of this. You're just letting them pick their level. And if you want to negotiate from there, if they say, well, you know, I really like the idea of a weekend getaway and I do need help moving, but, you know, I'm not buying with you, so I don't need you to, you know, promise me no commissions and I don't need you to pay for my move. All right, no worries. We'll do that at 8.5. How's that sound for you? Right? See, now you've negotiated it and you said, hey, we'll give you all the 9, right? But you're still getting more than the 6. Or again, with all this stupid stuff, you're getting more than the 3, right? That's how we're saying it. Any questions on this?
Yeah, so on the staging, does your stager bill out of escrow or are you paying for that up front?
So I typically just pay for it up front. Because again, at the end of the day, at least with the staging, most of the time I look at staging, again, most of the time, it depends on the house, but most of the time I'm looking at it as a loss if we don't end up selling the house. It's not something that I make them reimburse me for on the staging side. But a lot of this other stuff, we would have them reimburse us. So if we put carpet in their house and, you know, help them with a roof and send them on vacation and they decide 4 weeks in that they're not going to sell the house anymore, at that point we want to be able to come back and say, well, then you owe us X amount of dollars. And all of that can be outlined in your listing agreement.
Okay, cool. That was my question.
All right,
All right, guys.
I just put the compensation one in, and then the other one, let's see what we offer. I'm gonna give you this one too. What we offer.
Which one? That rate
There
sheet
you
is just inside, not the buying side.
Yeah,
Just.
You guys should have both of them.
thank you.
Thank you. We're still charging the full 6 and 7 just for the listing side.
Well, just to reiterate, Jared, we got some questions. That listing sheet was kind of like a pre-NAR change, right? That's, you're talking about halving them essentially.
Not not halving, but pulling 3 off. So it's halving on the first tier, but the reality is that you'd be 3, 4, 5, 6. And people are signing them. We just put a $400,000 house live yesterday at 9%. So don't think you can't do it. Like I said, it's all in your head. You can charge all you want to charge. You can charge whatever admin fees you want to pay. I mean, as soon as all these changes happened, everybody was freaking out. My thought was I'm gonna make more money than I've ever made before. And if that's your outlook, you're fine. Like, I love it. I love the fact that I'm going, you want to offer me 0? Awesome. I'm gonna put 4 on the contract when I send it over because I can now, right? You know, the MLS to say, oh, you can't negotiate commission in a contract. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, never mind, you can, right? I'm like, wait, you just been lying for a decade, right? You just made up stuff, right? So now that you're gonna let me negotiate it, I'm gonna negotiate it. You want to offer me less? I'm taking as much as I can from you. I'm taking closing costs. I'm getting 4%. I'm going for 5%. That's fine. Let me negotiate your house that you're not offering commission on that you sat on the market with for 4 months, right? You want my offer? This is what it's going to cost you. And for the buy side, I can push it just as hard to them and say, hey, I'm going to ask for 4.5. But the reason I'm doing it is because it's sitting so long, I think I can get it. And because of you allowing me to do that for you, I'm also going to pay to make sure I can move your stuff in, right? I'm going to pay for your movers. I'm going to do a pre-clean for you, make sure it's all good. You need some paint touched up. I'll have my painters come in. All good. Are you good with me for asking for that 4.5%? If I can do all that stuff for you, we can get it negotiated. All right, fantastic. Right?
Yeah. All right, guys, what questions do you have? I think this was good. Was this helpful?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Jared.
No problem. Sorry. Hey, like I said, I will come back if you ever need me to come back. We can plan more, and I will 100% get it on the calendar next time. So thank you guys for bearing with me.
One more question.
Okay.
Jared, forgive me, with delayed intelligence. I understand with the new car NAR, we have either the local or the NAR sheets that we can use, the RPA and the listing agreement. We also have EXP ones that have been used. I'm just curious, are you using the EXP ones or the one from NAR car?
We're using EXP ones, and originally they told us that we could not use the CVR, like our MLS ones, but now they've changed their mind and said you can, but you do have to change the language properly. And because I've already trained on this like 5 times now and stuff's changed so much, like we're still just using EXP forms for right now. We may change later, but right this second, I'm just using EXP forms.